Yeah, I was going to say a big thank you to everyone who has been interacting. I've seen a lot of the pictures that we all sent in, and we are going to together review those pictures and, just to give feedback of what we can do to make sure what we can do on the individual pictures that we sent in. Because that's really the purpose for doing all of these assignments so that you get feedback and things that we can actually work on. So first off, the recap. Last week we talked mostly about composition, how to frame your pictures using the rule of thirds, leading lines, and or whatnot. And in future, in the further assignments that we're going to be doing, we are going to be employing these rules of composition just to help make sure our pictures come out really, really good. So yeah, we talked about the many different forms of composition, but we mostly talked about symmetrical, rule of thirds, patterns, and I think yeah, those were the major ones we talked about. But I believe we can always get access to my slides and just a refresher. And also the videos will be made available. If we remember, we talked about rule of thirds. Then we also went into the different kinds of lighting, talked about natural lighting and artificial lighting, and we did a demo right here on that very day. We talked about three-point lighting, and I showed you a rough three-point lighting setup that you can easily recreate with a window, and if you have a ring light and maybe one additional light, the light could even be like the flashlights from your phone or even your power bank. Some of us have lights in our power banks. Then, okay, yeah, this was the setup that we sort of recreated, just using A4 paper, a product, and window lights, and just one extra light. So if you have a ring light, you can recreate something like this. From one of the pictures, I saw that someone has a ring light already. So kudos to you. And yeah, then now I would like to review the pictures that you guys sent in as the first thing that we do today. Just to give some feedback for those that were brave enough and responsive. It's good to see people responding to what we are doing here. So I will quickly share screen again. Yeah, so thank you all for sending in your pictures. I will just open some. I saw this one. I think it was sent in by Chinaza Cynthia. She, I think you almost replicated, did almost an exact replica of the lighting that we demoed on that day, which I would say kudos to you. It goes to show that you were really, really paying attention. A picture like this with some extra editing to punch out the colors and increase some contrast is good enough for you to put on Instagram, maybe put a by the time you're posting, or I think in I think there'll be a graphic design model or like social media marketing model, digital marketing model where we can um okay, so, Godwin, you want to say something?
Hi, Mr. Sonto. So sorry for distracting you, but please,
Yeah.
based on your judgment and evaluation, just let us know the best three candidates that sent out the best assignments so that we'll have a reward for them. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's going to be hard though, because like I really liked most of the pictures that people sent in, but from some I would see, people that maybe went an extra step or the other. But yeah, um, kudos to you, Chinada, for paying good attention to lighting. We can see that it's soft. The other, like, there are two parts here. The other one in the background is blurred out, so it shows that you use portrait mode for this particular picture. So, Gordon, do you still is your hand is still up? Do you still want to say something? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, I can see that you employed a number of things here. Your framing, you did it diagonal instead of straight, which is good. Then you used portrait mode so that what's in the background is more blurry. So good job. Um, so um, Frank. Frank, I guess this might be a picture from like your place of work. I can imagine using this picture for social media content, to show the work atmosphere and stuff like that. I would say that this picture could have been better with the framing, like, because right now I'll say the composition rule that I'm at least seeing is like contrast. Every other person seems to be wearing the exact same thing, but this guy on pink, he grabs my attention almost immediately. It's like you are making the photo about him. And if that was what you were gunning for, I think that you did a good job with that. I would say maybe um calm down a bit, and maybe lose the other people and focus more on him. But if I should draw the rule of thirds grade, I can see him intersecting the the very one of the lines, or like there will be an intersect right where he is. So I think you also paid attention during the class. Then and I would have said just come a bit lower, to do that low angle thing so that he is a bit more distinguished in the picture. But all in all, good job. And yeah, I think I would try to go through these a bit faster. I like the framing of this. I think you try to do a combination of center framing and leading lines, because the table, the bench. Oh, sorry, who is it? This is Oluwatobi. The table that the flower is on, I would have just said move it to, because you see, like, there's this center line of the table. So I would have said move it to like that center line of the table. Then again, you now like reframe to have the window on this side, and I know the flower in the center, but there's this leading line that's leading us straight to the flower vase. So like it was super cool, super cool. But all in all, yes, it shows that you were actually paying attention. I think you did some editing on this. I don't know if you did, but it looked like it was edited a bit, but good picture as well. So Kende, this particular picture is focuses a lot on the artwork. Lighting is good. I would have just said frame, like, it looks a bit slanted, so like maybe move more in front of it so that we can see the artwork. If this was an artwork for sale that we are trying to promote online on social media, I think this picture works great. I can see all of the details. I can see it's well lit. I can see the details of the frame. that you use that is used for it. So, it's a good picture. Just align it. That's why I always advocate having the grids on so that you can see when something is not straight. Good job, Kende. Then Zainab came to where I like this picture. I like this picture. Um, Although if you were using this to sell a product, I would imagine that there's like a collection. It's not just this one. So this would be one of like maybe three or four showing different angles of the material. I like that you shot it against a brown background, and it just gives it that warm tone. And you also shot it in portrait mode, so focus is on the material, less on the background, because a lot is actually going on. There's like a lot of things in the background. There's this backdrop, there's a building behind, there's a tree. But by taking it in portrait mode, it softens the image, pulls our focus to what it is that you want us to see. So it's a good picture. I would have liked to see like the front of the material. I almost want to like just go up and look at top, but it's a good picture. Um, this this picture Afiz could have been, would I say, better, because a lot of the a lot of the emphasis is on the trees, but we lose details in the sky. So good picture, good picture, but it's something that I will talk about for landscape photography, in today's session. Then this seems like it was like super edited, and I can even see like a watermark on it. And this is Chigozie Anthony, and yeah, yeah, good framing, but like it looks super edited. Then this Idris Tohib, great, great photo. This does it for me. Like I can see this soft sunlight, the material that you put the shoes on. You can see your brand in the background, but it's still blurred out so that we can focus on the product that you're actually selling. Thumbs up. Um, think the day that I saw this picture, I was actually hungry. This was not nice to do, Manuela. But if this was a low light photo, this could have been lit better. I think that you just took this like right in front of you. But if you wanted to make people hungry, you achieved that. But there are some lighting tips that you would have employed to make it look a bit better, use a different background, and but if it's just for fun, just for storytelling purposes, this is okay. This works fine. And next, so we're going to talk about action photography, because I think in one of the previous sessions, I mentioned action photography or action mode, or in iPhone devices, burst mode is what you would use when a lot of things are happening at the same time. So in this particular scene, the kids were bouncing up and down and all that. You can't tell them to just pause, let me take a picture. No. So this is where it's at moments like this that you will take the picture in action mode if you are using an Android, or in burst mode if you are using an iPhone device. Show I'm going to show us how to do that. And for any of you that have an iPhone, will be helping us demonstrate it, because I only had access to iPhone 6, and that's the camera hardware is way behind what people use now. So one of you will be helping us to demo the the iPhone aspects. Then this is also a good picture. I can use it to sell. You can use this to sell the products clearly. You're making use of natural light. You're not spending excess money on gear and all whatnot. I would say frame it a bit better because like it looks like it's slanting to one side. So with your grids on, you'll be able to make them fit into that center, to that into the center boxes so that there's not excess space on one side and it's not slanting. So great picture. It looks soft, it's clear. I can see all the details. Put a price tag on this and you're good to go to sell the products online. Now, this picture looks like from Taiwo. It looks like it was taken with flash. One thing about me, I hate flash. But in this particular occasion, it brought out it did a good job. I can see the carving of the haircuts very clearly. I can see your brand. If this is your brand, I can see your brand. Like this is a good picture. If what you are selling is a barbing salon, this works great. This was great. And if like I can see there's this blue lights in the background. It's a detail like that can be something that can become your signature look. Well lit or front lit pictures with blue lights in the background, and that can be your own signature. So I can see you shot in portraits, you use backlights, you are using more if you use the flash, it's like you use a 2 point light system. One, your flash is your key, then there's that backlight. I think there's still some other lights on in the background that is assisting and yeah. It's good. It's good. And it's sharp as well. So it's like very good. I think is also taken with a good camera. So the images are coming out looking sharp. So then this picture, I see you using leading lines, I see you using patterns, I see you yourself, like the subjects leaning in a particular way. So like everything else is straight, but the point of interest is slanted. So that contrast is really good for pictures. It's just that something like this, I may have said do it in portrait mode so that the background, because the background is a bit busy, so that like we are drawn into your subject. Something pictures like this you can use for like maybe a creative series. You have a collection that you are releasing, collection of Adire outfits. This could be one of a particular series. You do this wide shot, and I see that you did this because this is a wide shot good on you. You can do if it's a 4 pictures for one particular outfit. This wide shot, you go in closer, show the material, then maybe take another angle, a low angle or a high angle shot. Like there's a lot that you can do just off of one picture. And I know I limited you guys by telling you to upload one. So yeah, with editing, you can punch out the pictures. You can now, even with in editing, choose to make the background a bit blurry. But sometimes I won't always suggest doing that because it can end up being artificial if you do it excessively. So, but good job. So I would say this is from Christy Praise. This is an Ojoro picture because you shot it in black and white. Black and white is shooting in black and white is one of the easiest ways to get like good, what I would say good like storytelling pictures because now you're not distracted by colors, you're not distracted by some excessive details. It's just what you want people to see is what we are seeing. This picture is soft, it's well lit, and there are also patterns on the outfits that are being worn. And it's a good self portrait. It's a good self portrait. If you are into if you are into portrait photography, you lean more towards these kinds of pictures for your lighting, for even for your background. So, and that's another thing. Your background might not match the colors of of the outfit, and it might be clashing. So, a good thing to just do is, just shoot in black and white, and you would deal with values, light and dark, instead of light, dark, color, skin tone, chemical. So, good picture. This is long freedom. Okay, I'll go back to this. This is a good storytelling picture. This is a very good. So who is this? John Adeife. Good. I don't even know if I have any other comments. Like you did, there's a lot that you did. Shot in portrait mode, background is blurry. The two people are in focus. What they are watching is also in focus. So it kind of gives us these moments like if it was a marketing campaign, they can put this as a day in the life of a day in the life on the production floor, on the assembly floor. That's good picture. The colors are vibrant, so it tells me that you're shooting with a decent phone. Good. This is John Adeife. Then this is also a nice picture. I can see this is from Beatrice. I can see that you used, I don't know if you actually did, but like I can see um some composition rules here, leading lines, like this center line, this walkway is leading us to her. Then even the flagpoles at the back also kind of points downwards towards where she is. I would say, like maybe move a bit more to your right so that she's straight in the center of the picture, and like you could have even maybe gone closer and lower for a more dramatic effect. Then yeah, maybe with some editing, push up the colors and the brightness to make it like really pop. But yeah, very good picture. Very good. Nice job, Beatrice. And I liked this picture. I liked this one. It's simple, not a lot is going on, but I like it for the color theme. I don't know if you did this on purpose. This is Waleat Mashud. I don't know if you did this on purpose, but like from the color in the background, this brown color in the background, to the light brown outfit that she's wearing, and the dark brown pattern, like the stripes that is here. She's wearing goldish brownish shoes. Then there are also these dark, like the wall also has this brown and dark brown theme going on. Even this kettle has the stripes pattern theme going on. So it's almost like everything just, came together in this picture. Then of course there are some leading lines, the pillar that is pointing to her, and the I think it's the gutter that also points in her direction. It's a great picture. Like you don't even need editing or anything. It's good. Um Okay, David Mercy, this is a person that I saw that you have a ring light. So in no light situations, you are good. You are good, and Is there, I think you can do a lot more with this ring lights. This is just, I feel like this might have been just a quick picture that you took. But let's say you were selling perfumes or something, you could just like do almost the same way you're holding this picture, just have it um in a slanted angle and with the colorful background you already have. Um, this picture is nice. Um, okay, for time, I will just go through the I think like who's this Ojoro person? I just added to the picture now. Okay. Um, the next, okay, one, two, three. This picture is also nice, but I think it may have been edited. This is a praise jar. I think you pushed up the blues in the background in post. It made the picture nice, but it's edited. You did Ojoro. I like this. This is the only nature photograph I think anyone sent. Okay, it's not the only nature, but Laura Michelson, nice picture. Um, this is also a good picture, nice, clear, well lit. I can see the details, and I'm getting thirsty. Nice job, Devon, Lucy. I like this picture. I like this picture. If you were into nails, you this is Oluchupi Foma. Oluchupi Foma, did you take this? This almost looks like this almost looks like it was gotten from Google. Oluchupi Foma, are you here? Is this your hand or is this someone else's hand? Okay, okay. So I've seen your comments in the chat. Great picture, nice composition. I can see the product, I can see its usage and the background, like the this cloth that you put it on really helps it to like come out. That contrast between this rigid pattern then the softness of the gradient of the nails. Good job. Good job. Good job. So I would at the end, there are also other good pictures, but I think we'll stop there so that we can get into what we have for today. So going back to that, so Godwin, I would put together by the end of this, I will put together like I didn't know I was supposed to do like my top three and all whatnot. As you can see, it's hard. So I'll review them again. Then today, I'll let you know the top three. And so yeah, so let's get into it for today. If I didn't if I didn't mention you, my apologies. And let's just dive right in. Our time's fast spent. Okay, so today I'm talking about land. We'll start by talking about landscape photography. I already saw that some of you took some landscape photos and sent them in. Good job. So there are particular things that we need to be mindful of when we are doing landscape photography. If it is that you want to, oh, and landscape photography is usually pictures of scenes, like scenes, buildings. Sometimes nature also falls into landscape photography, but it's mostly wide pictures, buildings, and natural, I would say, sites. So when you are going to do like you make up your mind, it's not that maybe you were just casually passing a fine building or the sun was setting and you're like, child, jeez. let me now if it's that you are planning this that okay, today I'm traveling to Obudu Castle Ranch. So I know I want to take some nice shots of that the mountains. So the first thing you do, of course, is to plan. You plan, plan your trip, know if this is an area that Agbero used to obtain people's phones, or if you need to pay to enter the place. Like I think one of the photos that someone took was at JJT Park, and you need to pay to enter. They don't allow you to take pictures with professional cameras, but they allow you to take pictures with phones. So you would need to do for wherever you are going and you plan on taking landscape photos, you need to do your research, know what is the do's and don'ts in that area, shine your eye, because especially for landscape and street photography, just hold your device securely, especially for street photography. Then, of course, consider the weather, because sometimes you want to take that sunset picture and it ends up raining on that particular day. So uh, have a weather app handy. There's also another app that I use to track where the sun is. It's called Sun Seeker. Sun Seeker. SUNSEEKER. Sun Seeker. With this app, it tells you where the sun is at that very moment, and it can even tell you where it will be at a particular time. It's an augmented reality app. So like when you open it, it will show you, like even when you move your camera around, it will still be pointing to where the sun is in that particular moment, and it will give you where it will be as time passes. So it's good to all those things that are good to have in your planning stage. Then use a tripod. Use a tripod. If you are going to be doing a lot of phone photography, it's always good to have a handy mobile tripod. And right now, a lot of all these online stores, they are doing Black Friday sales. So this is a good time to, I would say, invest in mobile photography, because the prices would be reasonable, not particularly low, reasonable right now. So okay, I would show you the app on my phone when we are doing demos, so that you can see how that Sunseeker app looks. It's also good if you are going to be doing videography, wedding photos, and all that, so that because sometimes you want to take sunset pictures of like the couple or at an event. So just to know where the sun is per time. Then use our framing, sorry, our composition rules like leading lines and rule of thirds. Then shoot at golden hour. Golden hour is that time of day when the sun is looking very, I would say, beautiful. Like the sun is almost setting around that time, like between 5, 6, and maybe 7, depending on the time of the year. You know, longer days, shorter nights, that thing. So, but golden hour is that like evening time when when you come out and you see that the sky is now looking orange, purple, pink. That particular time for landscape is beautiful. Then, so you also need to be mindful for editing. Now, like I would say, shoot your photos in raw format, but the raw format is a bit heavy for some phones. Um, so some iPhones you can shoot raw, You can shoot raw, and Lightroom also allows you to shoot raw. I will show that when we are doing the demo. And yeah, so when you shoot raw, it allows you, there's now so much detail in the picture. Or it will look like there's no detail in the picture because there will be no color, it's maybe a bit dark. But for editing purposes, that's has a whole lot of detail. You can now do a lot. But for mobile photography, you are a lot of things, you are doing it on the go. So I don't tend to do a lot of take a lot of RAW photos on my mobile device. So because I don't particularly need it. Um, then of course, the last note is maximize depth of field to shoot in portrait mode. So before we go further, there's a poll up here. I want to know where do you guys get your inspiration for photos? Because it's an important thing. There needs to be somewhere or something that you are trying to emulate for your own style of photography, the pictures that you like to take. So do you look at professional photographers like maybe T.Y. Bello, Kelechi Amadiobi, Obi Sonto, my namesake, and a whole lot of there are a lot of professional photographers out there. Those are the guys that you are looking at. Do you sometimes check Pinterest for inspiration, especially when you want to take product photos or event photos or something? Do you look at Instagram? Are you just inspired by what you see in the real world? Like when you just get to a particular place, it's just, hmm. Or do you inspire yourself? Do you draw inspiration from your own unique ideas? You don't need to look at anything or anyone. Do you just get your inspiration from, I don't know, any other sources? So let's know in the poll, and we'll find out all these things are leading us somewhere. So yeah. Then okay, some examples of okay, yes. And one particular thing you need to do when we are taking. Oh, okay. So this is the result from the poll. A lot of us are inspired by real world situations. So none of us is inspired by professional photographers, which professionals in the world. But yeah, I can totally understand, being inspired by real world situations and Pinterest. I personally use Pinterest a lot. Like if we have client projects, I would either tell them to, send us a mood board from Pinterest, or we would, in our own research phase, go to Pinterest and do some digging. Then if Pinterest is, I think this poll is spot on for like what really actually happens. Well, if it was me, real world situations would be number three. But I mostly do Pinterest, then sometimes Instagram. A lot of time clients would send me stuff from other people's Instagram pages, and yeah. So I think our headspaces are in the right place. This is a fair estimation of what actually happens when looking for inspiration for pictures. So good job, guys. So I was saying that for landscape photography now, the one of the issues that you will find, and from like some of the pictures that some of us sent in, the sky is is sometimes the sky it has its own brightness. Then what is in front of you is maybe a bit dark or too light, depending on where the sun is. Then maybe the tree that is in the middle It also has another brightness and all that. In your eye, everything looks fine. But by the time you now snap picture, one thing is either too bright or too light or too dark. This is because the in nature when when light is passing, it hits different things at different speeds and different angles. So by the time it enters the camera, it's only set to it's usually set to take the exposure reading of maybe one major thing in the photograph, either the sky or the building that is close to you. Um, okay, under the sky or sorry, the sky, either the sky or maybe a building. That's why you see when you are taking pictures and you tap a particular part of the screen, that slider for exposure will now come up, allowing you to either increase the exposure, that's making the image brighter, or reduce the exposure, making it darker. But if you still do that, some things might not be exposed properly, so you lose some information in some areas. So a good thing to do is to turn on HDR, high dynamic range. That thing just simply means the it allows you to take details of the bright spots and dark spots in one picture. It may kind of not make sense, but let me show an example. So this is a picture with on one side, this HDR is enabled, and on another side, sorry, on the left it is disabled, on the right it's enabled. You can see that the picture on the left, some aspects of it, especially this sky, is a bit blown out, like just white. Then the things that are supposed to be in shadow, which are these things closer to us, they are not dark enough. They are not like they should be. By looking at it, you would think it should be darker, but it's now not dark enough. So enabling HDR will allow the camera to will I say expose each different aspect correctly. Now, there are some times where the phone cameras don't get this thing right, but most of the time, if you are doing um landscape photography, it would save you from losing details, especially here in Nigeria, where uh, or let's say here in Lagos, where it's cloudy most of the time. So like you may not be able to get that blue color of the sky a lot of times. So for iPhone users, under your camera settings, just scroll down and you see Smart HDR, and you can just switch it on. For for Android users, it's also under your camera settings. But no, not all Android devices are same, but in fact, even for some iPhones, like I mentioned, the phone that I was going to use to demo, the hardware is a bit old. So that's why I'm just explaining it here now. So yeah, go to your camera settings, scroll down, turn on Smart HDR. On Android, go to either right side your camera or under your settings, go to your camera settings, then you should see HDR, HDR, high dynamic range. If it doesn't have it, then it means your camera does it, does or tries to emulate it by default when it notices you are in an exterior situation. I would demo most of this. No, HDR is not limited to landscape. You can use it in general. It can help you achieve a creative look, but I tend to use it mostly either in land when I'm doing landscape photography or when I'm in when I'm outside in a situation where okay there are people or there's a person that I'm taking, and I also want the sky to be well exposed, not white like that. So it's something that you can also experiment, and that one is part of the assignments. So thank you for your question. I will, yeah. So yeah, okay, this is an example of a photo that I took on a trip that I went to for your State. Like I didn't know this was my first time in Oyo State. I didn't know that there were hills and the cloud also came down. I'm familiar with scenes like this in Obudu and stuff. So like yeah, I didn't turn on HDR mode. 'Cause, well, there was no need because the cloud was pretty much covering every single thing in this scene. So, but like you could still get that softness. Um, Particular things that I took specific focus on, or like things that were important to me to do in these landscape photos was my framing or my composition. If you would put the grid, you see that there's this road, the road that where the gate is or where these ranches um, gates are is on one of the intersects. So yeah, just these are just examples. So on this particular picture, I believe HDR was turned on because the way the sun was behaving, and that's another thing, in all these highlands, sun is the sun. So the angle of the sun was like right above us. It had just rained not too long ago, so you could see some water that is on the hills, like so reflecting the light, and you can still get some. I don't think I didn't edit this picture, so you can still see some of the blue in the sky. You can still see some of the blue, and uh, one. 1 second, my camera went off, but can you guys still hear me? Let me just be talking. I will sort it out later. Um, Hello, can you guys hear? But can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can hear
Okay,
you, Mr.
okay.
Sim.
All right, cool. Okay, so yeah, that's one example. So now this particular one, now did I edit it? I don't think I edited this, but it was shot with HDR mode turned on. You could see it looks like the picture was pushed a bit, like the blacks are very black, but we are still getting the blue of the sky. We are still able to see details of the hill, the horses in front. I think I edited this thing small just to push out the colors, like the greens of the grass and everything. And so in this, another thing, like I was saying, your composition matters a lot with landscape photography. If you see the picture on the left, um, one of the very first things that comes to that you see immediately is this hotel. Like your eyes don't go to that thing. It's is almost center frame, but they're like leading lines. They are leading lines that lead to it's like almost imagine yourself walking on the sidewalk and you'd end up at the hotel. That's this picture on the right. Not much attention to framing was made. I would say because it's not me that snapped the picture, but um, you can still see the scene is lit well enough for you to still see all of the necessary details as well as the will I say the secondary subjects in the photograph. Um, then, I mentioned sometimes landscape photography intersects with nature photography because you are doing it outside. You might be taking a picture of a particular scene, then you just look down at your feet and say, "Oh, okay, there are these um, insects that are crawling around." These pictures were made possible because my camera has a macro lens, so it can take pictures a lot close. Then I of course use portrait mode to be able to focus on the main thing that is the focus. That's the spider. That's on the other one, the ants, and every other details. They are there, but they are blurred out because you want people to focus on the particular thing. There was a picture that someone sent in that was a nature photo of some flowers, and it's almost the same idea, almost the same concept that the person was able to pull off. So yeah, and again, okay, this one on the left is an example of I would say a low angle shot because we are looking to this up to this bridge, and it's center frame because like that's the main focus of the picture, not even this green thing that is in front. It might want to obstruct, but because we framed in such a way that this Beatrix the Rogue thing is in the middle, and it's by seeing it from a low angle, is a lot more emphasis is made on it. Then this one on the left is just making use of I would say vibrant colors. Like it's a colorful picture. It's a colorful picture. If this was to be uploaded, it will spark interest. Like if it was on someone's timeline and they were scrolling up, by the time you just see this pop of colors, you would stop most likely, even if it's just to look at it. And yeah, so those are examples for landscape photography. We may not be able to demo it, but it is amongst the assignments that we are all going to do. So bear that in mind. For action photography in Android devices and um, iPhone devices is slightly different. Now, on an Android phone, you could just have like on my phone, you have the action pan mode it allows you to take pictures quickly. Or if you want to take action photos on an iPhone, you will need to use what we call burst mode, which is pretty much just your camera taking like up to 10 pictures in 1 second. So, and to be able to do that, all you need to do is like on your shutter, instead of just tapping it once, you hold it down and slide it left. You hold it down and slide it left. Somebody is going to demo this thing for us when we get to after all the talk part of this. So one of you will come up here, you share your screen and you show it to us. So yeah. So the action mode now. So when you are able to take all these burst mode pictures. Your camera is taking pictures fast, like very fast, like like I said, 10 up to 10 pictures in 1 second. With that, you don't miss anything that happens. Like say maybe you are taking a picture of a sporting activity, a football match is going or a tennis match is going on, or you want to take pictures of, maybe you are a food vendor, or you're trying to sell something like a drink or Zubo. I want to use the contents to entice, entice people like the way these pictures here are doing. You want to show the splash. You want to show like when you're pouring it inside. The way some of all these like yogurt brands and all that do it. It's in that action mode or burst mode that you'll be able to achieve that. And we're going to demo this as well today. So yeah, we'll demo it, then y'all would also, it's also part of the assignments. So so yeah. So like I just look at this picture. Pictures like this now will make you, if you do not used to take cereal conflicts before, you think twice. You're like, wow, maybe I can try it, perhaps. But yeah, these are like just creative, out of the box ways of using your camera, your phone camera. Then now the ones that are a bit dicey is to night and low light photography when there is no more natural light. A picture like this that I took was shot at night, but the good thing is that there was some lights. There were lights around. This is from a film set. There were lights around. So whenever you're in a night or low light situation, look for the lights. Look for the lights. Look for where light is coming from. And I would say, okay, well, our phone cameras have night mode. I think this was taken in night mode was turned on for this. So by the time it took the picture, there was some image processing that happened before it brought out this final picture. Now, a picture like this, this other one. Now, if I don't know if you are able to see like if you are looking at the sky parts of this picture, not where these drones are. If you see the rest of the sky now, it's like noisy and grainy, looking like a very low quality picture. Is well because we were in the dark. It was nice, and there was no lights to help the camera. So it did its best in increasing your phone's sensitivity to light. But in doing that, it's lost, I'll say it lost image quality and it ended up producing noise in the picture. Now, for the purpose of, storytelling, uploading, and just letting people know, like, I think this was part of an event, just letting people know that, oh, okay, this happened at this event and stuff. This may pass. But with some editing, you can clean up that noise, then push the contrast and let it now really pop a bit more. So your phone will always try its best when you put it in night mode. If you leave it on normal mode, it might not everything will not be dark. But switch it to night mode and you'll be able to get something usable. One thing that I like to do in nighttime situations is since, well, everywhere is dark, I might as well take pictures of the lights that is available. So instead of taking pictures of people, I end up taking pictures of lights. So, and it makes for interesting looking pictures. So it's now down to, okay, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? What is happening in that particular situation? Are you in the dark completely, or is there a source of light that can help your situation? Or you could, on your own, like in this picture on the left, it could just be that you are trying to create a mood or a vibe that you now choose to turn off all the lights. And the picture on the left is my workspace, for anyone wondering. And you remember that sun gun that I showed us last week? That's just the only light here. Turned off all the other lights. Just put this light in a corner, and you could see the shadows it was creating and the small lights that, just to create low light photography can also help you to create a vibe. Someone's asking, Tajetan is asking, should we capture from behind the light, in front, or opposite the light for low light photography? Most of the time, you would want the light to be in front of your subject, as in like light should be touching your subject. But like I said, it's depending on what you are going for. This particular one now, this example that I'm showing on the screen, the light is behind the light is behind, but it is bouncing off. So it's actually not exactly behind the pictures. It is backing the scene, but it is bouncing off of the wall and now coming back to us. So, but it's one of the creative ways of lighting. So it seems like there's no light, but it's just low light, not no light, low light. In in let me look for an example. In most of these examples that I'm showing here, the light is coming from behind, but it's now creating like a silhouette of the people. In this particular example, the people are not the focus, actually. It's just the general vibe that is the focus in these particular pictures. Because in low light situations, you want it to fall, you want to make sure that the light is touching your subjects, whether it's coming from the front or from the back. It's like, say if it's in a situation now, concert you would want to take the picture from an angle where the light is hitting your subject from the person's front, or at least the part of the person that is facing you. So this is a good time for our next poll. In taking a picture now, what would you say is most important to you? A bright and clear picture, a sharp picture, a picture that is colorful or vibrant, or an image that has an interesting story, or an image that is attractive. It can like an attractive or convincing image that can, maybe um, by that it can convince people to buy something, or to feel a particular way, that kind of thing. So Let us know. How people are not saying answer. Let me see your own answers. Yeah. Then, so this particular example is where light is coming from the front. This is also my same workspace. That's my hand, and it's the light coming from the front. The rest of the background is not is dimly lit now, and yeah, it's a low angle shot, low angle close up shot of my hand, and it also makes for an interesting photo. So in this long exposure photography is where I think I mentioned it in one of the sessions where your camera is taking picture, is capturing pictures, is capturing one particular image over a long time. So I think most of us value a bright and clear image. Um, a bright and clear image. Then next we value an interesting story. Okay. And then I think the next after that is an attractive or convincing image. Okay. Yeah. An attractive, convincing image, if especially if you are trying to get people to buy something, you are selling things, your focus will be wanting to draw people in because you are competing for people's attention. So you want them to like focus on your products. But anyways, um yeah, for long exposure, like I said, your phone camera is taking one picture, but it's like say you can use like 3 seconds to take that one picture, or 5 seconds or 10 seconds to take that one picture. Is usually used to capture rather motion blur. It's actually the opposite of action photography. Action photography is that you want your camera to snap as fast as possible so that there is no blur and everything looking sharp. Whereas in long exposure, you want your camera to like slow down and spend time to take just that one picture. That's why we call it long exposure. Your camera sensor is exposed to light for longer. So in our iPhone devices, yes, iPhone users, we can use long exposure. To get that, you see this, if you can see on my screen, you would see this drop down, this drop down in the center. You click it, then there should be, this timer by the side. You can click it and can allow you can now like adjust from, I think by default is 3 seconds. You can increase it to up to like 10 seconds. But the key thing about long exposure photography is that your phone needs to be still. Like as you're holding it, no shaking, no excessive movement. Because if you move, your your camera will capture that movement and you will see some blurriness or some shake in the picture because your hand moved. So yeah. Um 1 second. Okay. I want to turn my video back on. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, an example, of long exposure photography is, all these pictures where you would see the light streaks from fast moving cars. It's yeah, it's with this long exposure because the camera is normally, if you would snap this picture, you would only just see the lights, the backlights, just one light of the cars passing. But with long exposure mode turned on, it's trying to, as much as possible, capture all of the detail that it's seeing in that, say, 3 to 10 seconds that's it's taking the picture. Now, some phones are not able to do this. I tried doing this like before this session. What this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights that you're seeing here is actually one light coming from the touchlight of my phone. Or I have some, yeah, the flashlight of my phone, and I moved my hand. I was rotating my hand around, rotating my hand around. It was only able to, I would say, get like 4 poses of where my hand was. So sometimes with phones, it gets this, it does not get this. So, and this particular aspect of long exposure photography is what we call light painting. Light painting is what, there are some times where you're able to like use a torchlight and write out some text with light and whatnot. Let me not delve too much into that. It's um it's like an experimental thing for on phones. But if it was like a DSLR professional camera, it means to get stuff like this. So what now, pictures like this, where everything is like soft, creamy, like, so anything that is moving will end up having a blur effect on it. So when you would even, so by the time you take those burst mode, sorry, not burst mode, these long exposure pictures, you go to in your um, in your gallery. When you open the picture, you just take motion blur, and you will see it put on the motion blur. If someone would demo this for us. But like for the reason why all this, like the sky is looking milky and soft like this, is because all of that movement of the sky in that 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the camera captured it. I believe this was on open longer than 10 seconds, but to achieve a similar effect, which demonstrate, you would just leave it on longer or take the picture for longer, and it's capturing that, like, everything that is looking soft here is because it's that movement, all of that movement, it captured it, and will I say soft, it made it look soft because everything is being seen at the same time. So don't mind this my, will I say, Mongolosiga example. I have other examples, but I want us to do it live. So now, at this point, we are going to demonstrate, try our hands on all these things that we have been talking about. And I want us to get ready. How can iPhone users use longer schedule? I don't have it on my iPhone. No, most iPhones do not have. It's not written as long exposure. Oh, I saying you don't have that drop down thing to bring up the timer stuff. Okay, well. shouldn't the car movement be taken with burst mode since it's a moving scene? Well, that's if you want to capture the cars, because if you take it in burst mode, it is taking the pictures fast. I don't know how I will explain this. It's almost like the camera is trying to take the pictures as fast as the cars are moving. So if it's able to take the pictures at that same speed of the car, you won't have that blood motion blur. That motion blur we're getting is because the the car moved faster than the camera was able to like open, because what happens when you take a picture, aperture opens or shutter opens, then it closes. So in um, in burst mode, no, let's say in normal, when you're taking picture normally, it will just do in burst mode, it's doing if a car is moving at before we start doing mass kilometer, how many kilometers per second? Like maybe I don't know if maybe the car was moving like zoom, 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 and your camera is doing it's able to get a still picture. If you just get that moment, chakam, of when the car was passing. But once you leave that's when you put it in long exposure, instead of doing the normal, if you do, so all that time that it was doing like this, everything that passed, moved, did anything, it will capture it. But the thing is that with phones, since it's doing it digitally, it doesn't always get it. So that's just the dicey thing. That's what the dicey thing about it. But we are going to try it. We are going to, demo both action or burst mode. So one of you will demo burst mode first. Then I will do the Android version of that. Or I'll start with the Android version of all these things. Then one of you will show us the what you might call it, the iPhone version. Okay, so let me switch to my phone. And in the meantime, if anybody has any other questions, you can put them in the chat. Let's try and make this as interactive as possible. Remember, I said that we are all going to be doing, including me myself, we're also going to be demoing all these things. Okay, let me just show us the assignment now. Um, so yeah, so the assignment for today's session is to take one of each of these, take a low light photograph, take a light painting photo, or the light painting is okay. I will demonstrate it, and if I get it, you guys will do it. Then an action photo, that's like maybe the person that took the picture of that bouncing castle, that bouncing castle where people were moving around, pictures where there's a lot of movement. Use action mode, or if you are on iPhone, use burst mode and take a picture like that. Then long exposure, and now I want to add a creative shot. And this one now is like an out of the box picture that kind of combines almost everything that we have been talking about thus far. because the next class, tomorrow's class, we're going to start editing, or tomorrow's class is primarily editing. So some of these pictures that you take, and it's not just one of each of these. Um, you will take like the before, then when we do the after we do the editing class, um, you upload the after. So yeah. While this assignment is up and we are taking note of it, let me switch to my other device. Oh, yeah, live photos is more for, yes, sorry. Thank you, Mercy Emmanuel. Live photos is actually what you do if you want long exposure photos. So turn on live photos, timer, set your timer to like 3 or 10 seconds, then you take your picture. Because live photo gives you like to give you like some seconds before the final, before you see the final picture. It's capturing all of those moments before that final picture. Then there will be when you are viewing the picture in your gallery, you can now, I think somewhere on the top, select motion blur, and you will see the motion or the long exposure effect. Not, do you have to set the long exposure each time you want to use it? Well, yes. If you want to use the long exposure, yes. Or you can just like we just mentioned, you can just use the live photos instead. Because I think live photos is just a okie dokie. Okay. Switching to my phone. Okay, so I will stop sharing here. Okay, I believe we can all see my screen. Okay, so remember I mentioned that if you are looking to do long exposure or even action photography, you need to have a tripod. So this is just one of our camera tripods that I put a phone adapter on. So yeah, that is to enable me put the phone in one place. Uh, 1 second. Okay, so in this particular situation, I want us to demo the the action, or rather the long exposure. Let's say, for example, your product is this particular mug, and you want to experiment, have a, let's say, a cool looking image. And one of the ways you can do that is like maybe try experimenting with long exposure or with light painting. This thing I want to do with this light now is like that's the example that I showed you. So, and I will just put it in long exposure mode and make sure the light is seen. Let's take, just move the light around. Like I said, a lot of times with phone you won't get it. It doesn't always work out. And yeah, it didn't work out in this case. Unlike in this previous picture, this was the starting picture, and this is how it ended. But if you are on Android, this is what you do for um, long, exposure photography. Another way that you can, because the main thing is for you to capture all of the thing that is happening in scene. Another example is if I want like to have capture the, like say, if people are moving around behind my subjects. If I was outside now, I could have demonstrated this. But like having the subject, it could be a person or a product, then things in the background are what is moving around. Like my hand is moving in the background and the camera is taking or trying to capture all of that movement. So this blur that we see here is because the camera was taking all of those details. Now, for example, now if I turned off all of the other lights and had like uh, let's say studio lights on, and we did this again, just don't mind, this is not what I would do for a photograph. Because it almost looks like there's a ghost trying to to connect this button, this mug. Maybe go slower. I think my time is almost up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I would let me just quickly show what action photo would look like. So I say I want to capture that moment just before the liquid enters into the it takes a while how to process. Now, unlike boss mode of iPhones, it gives me only two images to choose from. It gives me only two images to choose from, rather than a wider selection if I was doing this on an iPhone. And today again, I would have to apologize to everyone because I think our time is up. See me thinking that we would have enough time today. Emanuela, um I think Emanuela's hand is up, and Godwin, your hand is up. You can you can speak. I think what I would do is um record a do a separate recording and share within the week before you guys do your assignments. So I will do a recording demonstrating all of this, even down to night mode, taking pictures at night, because we don't have a scene here that I can use to demonstrate all of these things for you guys. Um, so yeah, I would send that in before Wednesday, between today and Tuesday, so that you guys have the resource materials you use to take these pictures for the assignment. So again, apologize for taking excess time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sunto. That was a very exciting and engaging training session. I mean, I believe everyone has learned how to take landscape photography, action photography, and long exposure. These skills can be very helpful for your businesses, and we hope that everyone has taken note of the assignments. We have a culture here where we always reward those that, you know, give out an outstanding assignment, like when you do very well. Even the last assignment that was given, Mr. Sonto has said that he's going to evaluate it and give us a list of names that should be rewarded. So please, I'll encourage every one of us to, take out that time to
How
do
many
this
how many
assignment.
how many people for this last
So
assignment? Like
we are rewarding
you
three
mentioned
people,
three.
3 persons, 3 years. I know it's going to be a difficult one because I saw amazing pictures as well, but for now we just have to stick with that. It's sometimes it's good when there's healthy competition, it tends to bring out the best in everyone. So please try and do the assignment. It's not just for the purpose of the reward, but for you to bring out that creativity in you. It helps to spike things up. Um, Very quickly, we're going to continue the session tomorrow, same time. And also, please do follow us on all our social media platforms as Adara Foundation on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And also, if you have any questions, please drop them in the WhatsApp chat room, WhatsApp group. Mr. Asonto is also in the group. So if you have any questions regarding that the committee managers cannot answer, they can always tag Mr. Asonto to, help us on that. So also there's a survey in the group. So please do well to fill that survey. Just a kind reminder. So see you guys tomorrow, same time. And bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone.